Okay, I don't know, I had an idea for, something I could do in the future for, like, content. I was thinking, like, maybe, and this is just as they come up, just as things happen, but I could do story time content. Like, I don't know. There aren't a whole lot of, like, stories that I can think of that I think would be interesting to tell people, but there's only really one I can think of immediately, and that's the one I'm gonna do, like, now. I just figured, I might as well have gameplay in the background just so people, don't lose their minds, because I'm sure no one wants to just stare at a black screen or just, like, stare at me talking for X amount of minutes or whatever, but yeah, I have the volume really low so I can actually focus and talk about the stuff that I want to talk about and all that, but um, yeah, so I'll just be playing in the background and I'll do my best not to interrupt myself by, Anyway, so the story I have today is something, I mean, it's kind of, this event took place over, like, years. Like, this had been going on for, like, a really, really long-ass time, but was, I guess, but there was someone who, well, I moved to Wisconsin when I was 12, I believe. I think I was 12 when we moved to Wisconsin. Like, I had already completed 6th grade, so I was on to, 7th grade at this point in time. And I want to turn the volume down more. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so moved to Wisconsin at like 12. I had completed kindergarten through 6th grade in Minnesota, so my first year here in Wisconsin was 7th grade. It was middle school, which I was always kind of, you know, I didn't know that middle school was actually like the normal thing, because in my hometown, my hometown was pretty small, about 6,500 people. Small little town called Lake City, Minnesota. Wonderful place, beautiful, beautiful place, but wasn't too small, and there were only two schools. There was elementary, which was K through 6, and then there was high school, which was 7 through 12. So moving to Wisconsin and then having elementary be K through 5, middle be 6 through 8, and then high be 9 through 12. That was definitely like, I didn't think it was going to be like that. So I don't know if that makes me stupid or if I don't know, but anyway, but there was one of the students that went to my school was, or she is, I mean, still to this day, she is, I mean, we both graduated in 23, the summer of 2023, but she is adamant, like, and I'm talking, like, willing to die on this hill. She is adamant that I am racist. And the story of how that came to be, it's pretty long. Like, I am expecting this video to maybe be maximum an hour. Which, I mean, and the thing is, when I clip stuff on here, I have it set to an hour max, so I'll have to make sure I hurry. But anyway, so it all started one day in middle school. I don't remember if it was 7th or 8th grade. I I don't know, honestly. If I had to guess, I would guess it was probably 8th? I would guess it was probably 8th grade. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm almost positive it's 8th grade. But it was 8th grade, and mind you, I was bullied relentlessly, all throughout my life in school. And, it's like, there's a couple things. I was mainly bullied because of my weight, and then also the fact that if you spent more than like 15 minutes around me, you'd probably be able to put together that I was autistic. You'd probably be able to figure it out. So, you know, being heavier than normal and then also, you know, being a retard, you know, I mean, I'm allowed to say that, but, you know, those two things definitely are a great combination of, you know, like, things to be bullied for, right? Not that you deserve it, but, like, those two things are probably, like, you know, very popular things to, you know, bully people about. But anyway, I was, I mean, and there were, like, a few people. Now, granted, I still had a few friends. It's not like I had no friends and it was all bullies. No, I had friends. I had a few friends. I still talk to a few of them to this day, but, one day, you know, it was a science class. It was science. I remember that for sure. One of the students was, you know, being an asshole, and he also happened to be black. And this is important. This is important. Trust me. He happened to be black, and this particular student was like, he was one of the biggest ones. Like, there was another time where we had gotten into a physical altercation, and I ended up smacking the shit out of him, and that was actually all that happened. Like, I never got a chance to swing again. He never got a chance to swing in the first place. Yeah, nothing like that, but that was 7th grade. This was 8th grade when this happened, but, you know, he was being a piece of shit, and it got to the point where I was fed up with him, and I had said something. I pretty much threatened him, and I told him, like, listen, if you keep this shit up, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And the exact words that I said, I'm going to beat the black out of you. And I want to make this very clear. Like, there was zero, like, me saying that had nothing to do with the color of his skin. It had nothing to do with his skin color. I was just trying to emphasize the extent of which that I was going to beat the shit out of him if he continued doing this. Like, if he was white, I would have said the exact same thing. I would have said, I'm going to beat the white out of you. I would have said that. Like, the skin color part it had nothing to do with the color of his skin. I would have said the same thing. Like, regardless on what their race was, I literally would have said the same thing. I promise you. It would have been, I'm going to beat the insert skin color here out of you. Like, I would have said the same thing. I would have said the same thing 100%. So, that, you know, that happened, and, like, I don't know. They weren't even in that class, as far as I'm concerned, so I'm not sure how they... Well, actually, I'm sure what happened was someone, like, because people are stupid, they hear some, you know... People will go out of their way to assume things immediately. Like, again, and another thing I want to mention, because of, you know, my disability and my autism, I had absolutely zero idea that anyone would interpret it differently. In my mind, what I said was very clear, and there was no way that it could be misinterpreted as meaning something else. I was obviously wrong, but I had no idea. Like, I didn't think anyone would misinterpret what I said as, like, there was no racial intent. I don't know if that's the word, but there was no racial intent behind my statement. I didn't think anyone else would interpret it like that. And that's just because, you know, I wasn't, you know, I'm, like, at that moment, I was not capable of even realizing that other people might have interpreted it differently, right? But, you know, so I guess, you know, that happened, and then I assume someone started fucking rumors or whatever, because that's always that's all they ever do. They just start rumors. You know, someone started saying stuff like, oh, you know, did you hear that they said this? And they don't actually know that me saying that had nothing to do with, like, the color. Like, they don't know that. They don't know that. Like, I don't necessarily think I can blame them for assuming that, but, like, Well, actually, no, I can totally blame them for assuming that. Like, that's not cool. That's not a cool thing to do. You shouldn't make assumptions. Because that's what leads to, like, untrue rumors and shit being spread and all that. But, anyway. You know, so that happened. But, you know, as for... And, like, I should mention, like, the crazy, you know, the crazy bitch who kept, you know, the crazy bitch who thinks I'm racist, this, like, she wasn't even in that class, so, you know, that was just kind of whatever, but fast forward, or actually, that little incident in 8th grade is one of the reasons that, this, her name is Shay, but that's one of the reasons that she's adamant that I'm racist. The second reason is just because I overall have like an edgier and darker sense of humor. You know, like, I'm sure all of you have seen those Instagram reels where it's just like you know, all of you have seen Instagram reels or like those TikTok audios. Like you know what I'm talking about. I think those are funny as shit. I think those are funny. And I understand that not everyone's gonna think they're funny, and I get that some people might even find them offensive. Like, that's fine. I don't, like, that's fine. That, you know, but that's you. I'm not you. So, you know, it could be different for some people. But, there was one, you know, fast forward to, I believe this was 11th grade. I think this was my junior year. But I was in Algebra 2. I was in Algebra 2, and there was assigned seating, but it was because of, like, you know, day one, it was sit there, and I sat with my friend, like, my closest friend, IRL. I sat with him in that class, and, you know, we weren't, like, too crazy or too rowdy, nothing that would make the teacher be like, all right, you guys gotta split up or something. Nothing crazy like that. But there was one day in class, it was, you know, like, no idea what the hell we were doing, but we had finished up with whatever work we were doing. I don't know, there was like some kind of packet or homework or something that we were doing, I don't know, but me and him, I think we were already finished with it, but me and him just started, I had posed to him a hypothetical question, and it's not like I was talking at a normal speaking volume, I was just, you know, whispering, I was talking very softly, you know, just talking to him, but I had posed a hypothetical question to him, and obviously, we're just joking around, we would, you know, we would never actually do this. I just posed this question to him, just as a joke, but I had asked him, and I was like, you know, how much money do you think it would take you to, you know, just go into, a busy New York street and just yell the N-word or something. It was something stupid like that, right? It was some stupid question like that. And again, purely hypothetical, we would never, ever actually fucking do that. Anyone who did that, anyone who would do that is an idiot, is fucking stupid. We would never do that. But, you know, that is, you know, I just happen to ask that as a hypothetical question. And what had ended up happening, so unbeknownst to me, there was another person in that class who, they weren't sitting at, the same, cluster of tables that me and my friend were at, but they were the ones, right next to it or something, but they had actually, they went and recorded the conversation that I was having with them, which, by the way, I'm 97% sure that that's, like, actually a crime. I don't think you can do that without consent. But they were just, like, they recorded the conversation that I was having with my friend, and they, like, showed it to the principal or something, and, you know, he talked to me and was just like, you know, I mean, I literally told him, like, we weren't being serious. We would never do that. I don't know why you would think that it's necessary to, you know, waste my time talking to me about this, you know, whatever. But, I mean, she had clearly also shown it to other people. I should mention, this was a different like, this is not the crazy bitch who thinks I'm racist. This was just another person in that algebra class who recorded this, but eventually someone had ended up, like, showing it to, you know, to Shay or whatever, and from there it just kind of, there was a lot of stuff, but mainly what had ended up happening was, at this point in time, I started to use Twitter. Like, I started using a Twitter account, and at this point in time, I had a pinned post on my profile that just said, you know, hey, if you know, it was pretty much just, like, a standard pinned post that you'd see, but it was like, hey, you know, if you're, you know, homophobic or racist or a zoophile or, you know, transphobic, just fuck off. I don't want you here. Like, don't, like, leave me, you know, just standard stuff. And then there was this, like, random account that had posted underneath it that recording of the conversation that I was having with my friend, and they had edited the video and put a bunch of, like, they turned it into, like, a fucking meme video, and they had, like, still images of CJ from GTA San Andreas. Like, I I don't even know what the hell they were. I don't know, but it was, like, really unserious and stupid. But I don't know. Long story short, you know, this person, I don't even know. But they, you know, they replied with that underneath of the thing, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't remember what the hell I said, because this was like 2+ years ago at this point, but I said a lot of stuff probably. But, you know, I mean, at this point, I was just like, okay, you can go harass someone else. You clearly have no idea, like, what, you know, whatever. I was just, pretty much, I just told them to fuck off. They had no idea what the context behind the conversation was. You know, why don't you go harass someone else? You know, stuff like that. But, and, like, I had blocked the account or whatever, but you know, Shay had kept making more and more accounts, like, just to continue harassing me. And one thing that I do think is incredibly funny is, it got to a point where there was this random person, who ended up stumbling across whatever argument we were having, and Shay was telling this guy, his name is Abduli, and he is a black Muslim guy, and that is important because this is funny. But eventually, Abduli ended up stumbling across the argument we were having, and he got her side of the story, and then I told him my side of the story, and eventually he came to the conclusion that, no, this bitch is crazy. I didn't do anything wrong. This bitch is just crazy. Like, he genuinely sided with me. A random ass black guy who had nothing to do with, like, the conversation, or had nothing to do with, like, he just, you know, he came in there and listened to both sides of the story, and he sided with me. So if that tells you anything, I'm just saying, you know. But I love that guy. He's cool. Anyway, but yeah, it's, you know, long yeah, anyway, but... So, fast forward, I don't know how long, but... This was probably early senior year, or it might have been late junior year. I don't know, honestly, but fast forward, and eventually, just one day, going to school, and we get, like, a notification over the loudspeaker, that we're gonna be evacuating to the Boys and Girls Club nearby, and I'm thinking, okay, this is strange. Did someone call in a bomb threat? Well, someone actually did call in a bomb threat, and that's why we were evacuating. So, you know, that was something. So, like, yeah, I mean, that whole day just was, like... That whole day, like, we didn't even get through the first period. It was just that, and then eventually, you know, we got sent home and all that. So it was kind of like a day off in a way, but during that day when we were at the Boys and Girls Club, and you know, I had ran into Shay while we were there, because, like, everyone was there. I ran into her, and I actually made the effort. I went up to her, and I wanted to talk to her, and I was just like, hey, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I know that you're the one behind those accounts that are harassing me. I can give you an explanation as to what happened if you want, you know, because, like, they clearly have this own idea in their mind that, you know, this thing happened and, you know, blah, 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 whatever, but I more or less was just like, listen, I'm more than willing to just drop this shit and just pretend it, like, I'm more than willing to just put this shit behind us. Like, I just want you to fucking stop, because you have no idea what actually, like, happened, you know, whatever, all this and that. And she seemed fine with it, like, you know, just like, you know, yeah, sure, whatever, right? I don't know, but seemed fine with it. You know, seemed fine with it. And then, well, actually, this was senior year, now that I think about it. Yeah, no, it was senior year, because I had pro start. Anyway, so, yeah, early senior year, that happened. And then we're going to fast forward to, like, late April, early May of 2023. So this is, like, 1 month before we graduate. You know, and again, I'm thinking everything's fine at this point. So, fast forward to April, late April, early May 2023. I am in, this is World Lit. So I actually had 2 literature classes second semester. I had British Lit on A days, and World Lit on B days. It might have been the other way around. I have no idea. I don't care, but... Shay also happened to be in my World Lit class, which that was always, you know, that was fun, and I say that sarcastically, but, you know, wasn't very fun, spoiler alert, but, you know, she was in that class. The thing was, like, it was strange, because she was, like, rarely ever actually in the class. Like, it always seemed like she just wasn't there 80% of the days, which I don't know. I'm not gonna ask questions as to why. It's like, that's probably not even my business, but, you know, it's like, whatever. But, one of the books that we ended up reading in that World Lit class was, The Kite Runner. I forget the author. I'm sorry, I forget the author, but I'm sure most of you have probably either read it or heard of it at the very least. One of the books ended up being The Kite Runner, and, you know, spoilers, I guess? I don't know, but there is a part in the book, and actually the movie, there is a movie adaptation, which is great. We watched that, like, on the last day that we had or something, but, there is a part in the book and the movie where one of the main characters, I genuinely forget his name, but it's a guy, and he ends up getting raped by one of the antagonist characters, who's another guy. And like when we had first started reading, like when we first got the books, right? There was a day where you know, one of my friends in the class, he turned to me. His name's Jonah. He's cool as fuck. Love that guy. But he turned to me and he was like, "You should turn to page 78 or whatever." And like, you should turn to page 78 and like read the bottom paragraph or whatever. And I was just like, okay. So I turned to page 78, and I, you know, look at towards the bottom of it, and of course that's the page that details the, you know, the one character getting raped or whatever. And I just, I said, "Oh, that's just lovely." And I said that in like a very clearly sarcastic and like not actually serious tone. I was just like, you could clearly, you know, I was just like, "Oh, that is just lovely," you know. You know, I said that, and then he started laughing. Jonah started laughing, and he was not laughing at the book. He was not laughing at the fact that this main character was being sexually assaulted. That's not what he was laughing at. He was laughing at my reaction to reading that. That's what he was laughing at. Any person would have been able to tell. And then Shay ends up piping up, and she's like, "Jonah, why are you laughing at somebody getting raped?" And then he's like, "No, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at his reaction to it," and he points to me. And then I also chime in, and I'm just like, "Yeah, he was very clearly laughing at my reaction to it and not the actual contents of the book. You shouldn't make assumptions like that. That's not cool." And then, you know, that happened, and actually, after class, the teacher actually ended up pulling me and him aside to have a talk about what happened, which, I mean, looking back on it, it was very clear that she thought that me and him were in the wrong just because we like, were male, and, like, it was very clear that the teacher was sucking her dick, like her non-existent, what's the word I'm looking for? It's hypothetical, you know, like, you get what I'm trying to say, like, metaphorical, thank you. The teacher was metaphorically sucking her dick. That's what she was doing. And I made sure to let her know that, like, you know, I made sure to let her know I was not very happy about the way I was being treated. But anyway, but long story short, it was very clear to me, and also for one of the things that the teacher said literally gave it away to me, but it was very clear to me just from her behavior and also the way she acted for this specific instance that she has been sexually assaulted before, which, like, you know, that obviously that sucks, and that's not cool, and that's not something you should be joking about. But also, I was never joking about it, and neither was Jonah. Like, we were never making jokes about it, you know. Like, that never happened. Like, you know, the whole thing was just a misunderstanding, and I was treated unfairly by the teacher because, you know, she's fucking stupid, and, you know, yeah, you know, it's, you know, she can go fuck herself. You know, yeah, if Miss Peasel is watching this, you know, I think you're a fucking dog shit teacher, you know, but that's not important, that's not important, I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away. She's such a fucking bitch, both the teacher and Shay. I fucking, yeah. They can both go choke on a penis, honestly, but enough about that. I'm getting a little I'm getting a little heated just thinking about it, because, like, it's just so fucked up. Anyway, but, so, that whole thing happened, right? And I'm gonna be honest, I have had to deal with so much shit throughout all of high school, and I've had to deal with Shay in particular so much throughout high school. Like, I'm gonna be so honest with you. I was genuinely considering, like, I wanted, and again, this is late April, early May. Like, we are literally on the brink of graduation. I wanted to fucking drop out and just never come back. I wanted to fucking kill myself. I wanted to do one of those two things. Like, I could not fucking deal with this shit anymore. like, 5 or 6 years of this fucking just torment from multiple different people. Like, this, like, genuinely, this was the worst period in my entire life. I wanted to drop out and or kill myself. Like, this was horrible. Right? Anyway, fast forward a few more months. It's like June or July. I fucking made it. I graduated, you know? I graduated. I did it. I didn't kill myself and I didn't drop out. Somehow, I graduated. I fucking did it. Right? So fast forward a few more months. It's either like June or July or something. And I get a DM on Twitter. And it was a really long message. And moral of the story, or long story short, it was Shay, and she had messaged me and was like, "Hey, listen, I'm really sorry about the way I treated you. I was just kind of going with the crowd, and, you know, that was my fault, blah, 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 you know, all that." And I really didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to be like, nah, you know what? You can go fuck yourself. You made me want to kill myself. You made me want to drop out of school. I hope you fucking die. Like, part of me wanted to just go... I wanted to go ballistic, right? And then the other part of me was thinking, but what if she genuinely is sorry, right? And the thing is... and so what I ended up doing is I waited a couple hours before I responded to that message. I just really thought long and hard about, you know, what do I want to say? Do I want to accept the apology? Do I want to say, no, you can go fuck yourself? Like, what do I do? After I thought about it a lot, I kind of went in the middle. I said, listen, what you did to me was completely unacceptable, and you can never undo that to me. You did these things, you know, etc. But at the end of everything, I was like, so I pretty much said, I will accept your apology. However, because of the sheer severity of what you did to me, I will never actually be able to fully forgive you. However, I am more than willing to put all of this shit in the past and move on, and maybe even, like, be acquaintances. And I made sure to use that word in particular, because after that treatment, I would never be friends with someone like that. But acquaintances, that's a little different. So, I was like, I'm more than willing to put this shit in the past. Maybe we can, you know, maybe one of these days we can grab lunch or something, and maybe, you know, catch up and stuff. And yeah, you know, that's what we did eventually. She seemed, what's the word? Like, she seemed alright with that answer. And, eventually we actually did do that. We actually, we went to a local Mexican restaurant that we have here. Delicious. We had lunch, just talked about some stuff. And, you know, it was nice. I thought everything was, like, finally, you know, it was nice. But, Riley Reed. I'm sorry, that made me laugh. Anyway. But yeah, you know, I thought everything was finally good. And, you know, like, at this point, we were following each other on Twitter, and I think we had each other added on Discord, too. I thought everything was totally good to go. I thought we were all good with everything. And then fast forward maybe 3-4 months, I don't know, fast forward a couple more months, I randomly sent her a message on Discord, except the message didn't go through. It gave me that little thing that said failed to send, and I was just like, that's not normal. I click on her profile, the button that says add friend is there, meaning we're not friends anymore, and I'm just like, okay, this definitely isn't right. I hit the button that says add friend, and it gives me that error message saying, whoops, this failed, sorry, you know, try this again, I don't know. Now at this point, I'm thinking, did she just go and block me on everything? Open up Twitter account, blocked. Yeah, well, actually, I should mention, I had 2 Twitter accounts. I have my normal one, and then I have my 18 plus one that I use for other stuff. And she at this time also had a normal safe for work account, and then another 18 plus account. I was blocked on both accounts by both accounts, with the one exception being I was not blocked on her main account. I was not blocked by her main account on my 18 plus account, but everything else I was blocked on. And this was the point. This was like before they updated Twitter to where you could still see people's posts even if you're blocked by them. So knowing that I wasn't blocked on, knowing that my 18 plus account wasn't blocked on her normal account yet, I was like, huh, okay, well, there's probably a reason. So I went through the more recent posts, and she had commented underneath another, so there was another person on Twitter who I used to be friends with, and then they cut me off because they thought that one of the people I was dating was a groomer, which they weren't, but they didn't care. They just cut me off anyway. They were like, oh no, if you're gonna choose to date a groomer, then, you know. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, buddy, whatever. So that happened, and, you know, but Shay had ended up replying underneath one of their posts. Their name was Mercy. You know, but Shay had replied underneath one of Mercy's posts and said, oh yeah, I went to high school with this guy before, or something like that. And then she made another she like commented underneath that same post and said something about how I made fun of child rape in the Kite Runner book, which, might I remind you, that didn't fucking happen. That was nowhere near what actually happened. So, like, this bitch is literally just pulling these lies out of her asshole, because that's, like, she wants to live in this world where, like, I'm this fucking racist piece. In her mind, she's the victim of everything, and I'm just this racist piece of shit or something. I have no idea anymore. But at that point, I was just like, wow. How did I know? How did I fucking know that this was still gonna happen? How did I know? Like, I just had this, like, I fucking knew it moment. So, you know, after I found that out, I ended up, you know, and it's, well, I mean, this whole thing is just, I mean, it's like, people wonder why I have fucking trust issues. That's why, dude. But anyway, I ended up sending her this, like, long, actually, it was 3 very long and very strongly worded messages. Just, you know, I was just saying a bunch of stuff. I was just saying, like, wow, I fucking knew it, you know, you were always a piece of shit, you know, I hope you fucking die a slow and painful death, go fuck yourself. Like, I was going off, and I meant every single word that I said. But yeah, like, I just went off, genuinely. I lost it, because, like, you know, it's just, it's insane how, it's just insane, but, you know, I don't know, but, on more than one occasion, I've even, like, I don't know, it's not, but yeah, like, yeah, I, I made sure that she knew how I felt. I made sure that I got every single word out that I wanted to get out. I made sure that she knew how I felt. I made sure that I said every single thing that I wanted to say. I made sure that I said everything that I needed to say. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. As for right now, that's pretty much the end of it. There have been times before where she's, like, made new Twitter and Reddit accounts just to comment on my posts, just to spread more false accusations that I'm these things and that things, but to this day, she is adamant that I am racist, which, again, I don't think I need to clarify this, but I am not, just in case anyone needs to know, I am not racist. I have zero, I don't have issues with people because of their skin color. I have zero, I don't know, it's just so insane how, like, it's just insane to me how far people will go to try and ruin the life of someone that they don't like just because they know that they're better than them and that they'll never be as successful or as happy as them. I don't know. Like, it's just... And, like, I never went out of my way to make fun of this person for, like, being a victim of sexual assault or whatever. I never went out of my way to be mean to them or to make fun of them for things that have happened to them in the past. I never did any of that shit. Genuinely, I did not. And yet, they still tried to make my life worse, arguably tried to make me kill myself, which they almost succeeded, but I didn't fucking let them. Just because they thought I was racist. Which, again, I'm not. That's just their crazy little fucking... That's just the crazy little world that they live in, that they think I am. I don't know. I mean, it's just... It's... I don't know, but... Moral of the story is, for the love of God, don't ever let your guard up. Like, you know, ironically enough, because I'm playing Black Ops 6, you know, just like, what is his name, Langley or whatever, but he says, you know, he says, trust no one. That's what you should do, seriously. If someone is ever mean to you, and you think that they might have changed, they probably haven't. Don't trust them. Don't trust anyone. Moral of the story. But yeah, I mean, oh, one last thing I'll add, just because, when I sent those, like, long-ass messages to her, telling her, like, all of the things that I've always wanted to say, she actually tried to report me to the police for something. I don't even fucking know, but obviously it didn't fucking work, because nothing I said was illegal, nor was anything I said considered a threat. So that's another thing that I think is funny. Like, this bitch is absolutely fucking pathetic. And she tries everything she can to, like, finally ruin my life, but it's never worked. And, you know, that makes me a little happy. You know, I'm just saying, you know, but yeah. I think that's about everything. I don't know. If you guys want, like, more Storytime stuff in the future, definitely let me know. I have no issue doing that. I can totally make stuff like that. I certainly wouldn't mind making other videos like that, or, you know, content like that. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. I just, you know, it's just crazy how far some people will go to try and, like, ruin the reputation or lives, even, of someone they don't like. It is pretty crazy. But yeah, that's about all I got. I will see you guys in the next video. It'll probably be Guitar Hero stuff.